The calabash hit the floor and shattered, and the sound tore through the night like a scream that had been waiting for years to escape. Clay fragments skidded across the shrine floor, and the oil lamp flickered wildly, throwing shadows that jumped like frightened children. Ikon froze where he stood, his chest heaving, his fingers trembling in the empty air where the calabash had been a heartbeat before. "No, no, no, no," he whispered, dropping to his knees. From the darkness outside, a dog howled. The sound crawled into his bones. Ikon's eyes moved slowly over the broken pieces. Dark liquid soaked into the earth, thick and metallic smelling. Blood, not fresh but not dead either. He swallowed hard, his throat burning. "What have I done?" he muttered. Footsteps crunched outside. Ikon's head snapped up. He scrambled backward, his heel cutting against a shard, but he didn't feel the pain. He only felt fear. "Who is there?" a voice called. It was Edom, his elder brother. Ikon's heart pounded so loudly, he was sure the ancestors could hear it. He wiped his hands on his trousers and stood, forcing his face into something that looked like calm. "It's me," Ikon said, stepping out of the shrine. Edom frowned when he saw his brother's face. "Why are you here at this hour?" Ikon opened his mouth, then closed it. Words failed him. Lies felt too heavy to carry. "I couldn't sleep," he finally said. "I came to pray." Edom studied him for a long moment. "Pray?" he repeated quietly. "Without calling me?" Ikon shrugged, forcing a weak laugh. "Must I always call you?" Before Edom could respond, a sharp cry split the night. It came from the compound, a woman's voice, raw with terror. Edom turned and ran. Ikon followed, his legs shaking. They found their mother on the ground, clutching her chest, her wrapper loosened, her eyes wide and unfocused. Neighbors gathered, whispering, murmuring prayers. "Mother," Edom said, kneeling beside her. "Speak to me." She gasped and grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "The calabash," she whispered. "I heard it cry." Edom stiffened. "What calabash?" She looked past him, her gaze fixing on Ikon. Her grip tightened. "Something has broken," she said. "Something that binds blood." Ikon felt the world tilt. "Mama, you're tired," he said quickly. "You were dreaming." Her eyes never left his face. Slowly, they filled with tears. "You smell of fear," she said. "And of the shrine." Silence fell. Even the insects seemed to pause. Edom stood. "Ikon," he said softly. "What did you do?" "Nothing." Ikon snapped, too fast. "I did nothing." Their mother's grip loosened. She slumped back, her breath shallow. "Get water," Edom barked. As the neighbors rushed to help, Edom leaned close to Ikon. His voice dropped. "We will talk later." Ikon nodded, his mouth dry. Later came with the morning sun. Their mother slept fitfully inside, and the compound felt wrong, as if the walls themselves were listening. They sat under the mango tree where their father used to sit before death bent him into the ground. "You've been restless for months," Edom said. "You think I haven't noticed?" Ikon laughed bitterly. "You notice everything except how tired I am of being poor." Edom sighed. "Poverty is not solved by impatience." "Easy for you to say." Ikon shot back. "You have land. You have respect. You have the elders greeting you with smiles. And you think I didn't work for those things?" Edom asked. Ikon leaned forward. "You worked inside tradition. I am choking inside it." Edom's jaw tightened. "That tradition kept this family alive. It kept us tied," Ikon said. "Like goats." A pause stretched between them. "People came to me," Ikon continued quietly. Edom's eyes hardened. "What people?" "They said there are things in this family that should not be sleeping while we suffer." Edom stood abruptly. "You spoke to strangers about our shrine?" "They spoke to me," Ikon said, rising too. "They said the calabash was not just clay, that it could open doors." Edom slapped him. The sound echoed. "You fool," Edom said, breathing hard. "That calabash is not a door. It is a boundary." Ikon touched his cheek, tears burning. "I wanted help. You wanted shortcuts," Edom said. And shortcuts cut flesh. Ikon looked away. It broke. Edom's face drained of color. What broke? The calabash, Ikon whispered. The world seemed to stop. Edom staggered back and sat heavily on the bench. Say that again. It slipped, Ikon said, his voice shaking. I didn't mean to. It fell. Edom pressed his palms together, his lips moving soundlessly. Do you know what you have done? I know I ruined everything, Ikon cried. I know I disappointed you, but I was tired of begging life for mercy. Edom looked up, his eyes wet. You sold blood for hope. A sudden wind rushed through the compound, lifting dust into the air. From inside the house, their mother screamed. If this story is already tightening something in your chest, pause for a second and remember to like the video and subscribe for more stories that speak the truth our elders warned us about. Ikon and Edom ran inside together, fear erasing anger. Their mother sat upright, pointing toward the shrine. They are awake, she cried. They are angry. Outside, the broken calabash lay where it had fallen, pieces scattered like bones waiting to be named. And the ancestors had begun to listen. By midday, the compound no longer felt like home. People came and went, drawn by rumors they could not explain. Some said the mother had seen death standing by the shrine. Others whispered that the ancestors had been insulted. Every whisper felt like a stone added to Ikon's chest. Edom sent everyone away by evening. When the last footsteps faded, silence settled heavily. We must call the elders, Edom said. Ikon shook his head immediately. Not yet. Not yet. Edom repeated. Ikon, blood does not wait. They will demand punishment, Ikon said. You know that. They will demand truth, Edom replied. And truth demands payment. Ikon paced. Give me time. Let me fix it. Edom's voice softened. Some things cannot be fixed. They can only be paid for. Night fell again. Darkness came too quickly, like it had been summoned. Ikon lay on his mat but did not sleep. When he closed his eyes, he saw the calabash breaking over and over again. He heard it crying the way their mother had said. Then the whispers started. Ikon. He sat up sharply. Who is there? The room was empty. Ikon. The voice sounded like his father's, but not quite. Older, deeper, crawled along his spine. Stop!
From inside the house,
he whispered,
their mother screamed,
pressing his hands over his ears. The whispers turned into murmurs, many voices overlapping, calling names of people long dead. His heart raced. Sweat soaked his clothes. Outside, Edom suddenly shouted. Ikon ran out. Edom stood in the compound, staring at the goat pen. One goat lay stiff on the ground, its eyes wide, its neck twisted at an impossible angle. It was alive an hour ago, Edom said hoarsely. Ikon backed away. This is not my fault, he said, though his voice lacked conviction. Everything that breaks after a covenant breaks traces back to it, Edom replied. A low cry drifted from the shrine. Not loud, not human, just enough to make the skin prickle. We must call the elders, Edom said again. This time Ikon said nothing. The elders arrived before dawn. 3 old men, their backs bent but their eyes sharp, as if age had only sharpened their sight for invisible things. They sat before the shrine, silent for a long time. Finally, the oldest spoke. Something sacred has been violated. Edom bowed his head. Yes. The elder turned to Ikon. Your spirit is restless. Why? Ikon's mouth opened, but no words came. Speak, the elder said gently. Before silence speaks for you. Ikon fell to his knees. His voice cracked as everything poured out. The visitors, the money, the calabash slipping from his hands, the breaking sound. When he finished, the compound was quiet. One elder sighed. Blood was sealed here before you were born. I did not sell it, Ikon cried. It broke. Breaking is worse, another elder replied. Selling is intention. Breaking is carelessness. Both offend the same spirits. Edom clenched his fists. What must be done? The elders exchanged glances. There must be atonement. the oldest said. A life must answer the blood that was disturbed. Ikon's breath hitched. Whose life? The elder's eyes rested on him. The hand that caused the break must offer itself. Their mother let out a wail and collapsed. No, etim schautiv. Take me instead. The elder shook his head. The ancestors are not traitors. That night the hauntings grew worse. Shadows moved where no one stood. The air smelled of rust and smoke. Their mother drifted in and out of consciousness, calling names of the dead. Ikon sat alone near the shrine, staring at the broken pieces. His mind replayed Edom's face when he had offered his life. The thought hurt more than fear. You always protected me, Ikon whispered, even when I didn't deserve it. Footsteps approached. Edom sat beside him. I should have listened more, Edom said quietly. I was so busy being strong that I forgot you were drowning. Ikon laughed weakly. You were strong. I was impatient. They sat in silence. I will do it, Ikon said suddenly. Edom turned sharply. No. I broke it, Ikon continued. I will pay. Edom grabbed his shoulders. I will not lose my brother. Ikon met his eyes. You already lost him the night I chose greed over blood. Edom's grip loosened. Tears slid down his face. I don't want to bury you. Ikon rested his forehead against Edom's. Then remember me alive. The ritual was prepared at dawn. The elders drew symbols on the ground. The calabash pieces were arranged in a circle. As Ikon stepped forward, the wind rose again. He did not scream. He did not run. He only looked once at his brother and smiled sadly. The chant began, and the ancestors listened. If you're still here, it means this story has pulled you in. Don't forget to tap the like button. It helps these stories reach others who need to hear them. The ground seemed to breathe. Ikon fell. Silence followed. The wind stopped. For the first time in days, the compound felt still. Edom knelt beside his brother's body, tears dropping onto the earth. It is done, the elder said softly. But peace, Edom realized, was a heavy thing to carry. And blood, once disturbed, never truly forgets. The sun rose slowly, touching the broken calabash with light, as if trying to remember what had been lost. Edom remained on his knees long after the elders had left. The compound was quiet, too quiet, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Ikon lay motionless, his face calm, almost relieved, like a man who had finally dropped a heavy load he had carried too long. Their mother crawled toward the body and wrapped her arms around her son. No scream came out of her mouth this time, only a low sound, broken and exhausted, like a calabash already cracked before it falls. My child, she whispered. My stubborn child. Edom watched her and felt something inside him split open. He wanted to shout at the sky, to ask why blood always paid for mistakes, why love was never enough to protect those who made wrong choices. But the sky remained silent. They buried Ikon before sunset, as tradition demanded. No drums were beaten, no songs were sung. Only the sound of earth hitting earth filled the air. When the grave was closed, Edom stood alone, staring at the mound. I should have held you tighter, he said softly. I should have listened longer. The wind brushed past him, gentle now, almost apologetic. Days passed. The hauntings stopped. No more whispers. No shadows moving where they should not. Life returned to the compound, but something was missing. Laughter no longer came easily. Every meal tasted like memory. Their mother grew. Months passed. Edom worked the land harder than ever. Not for wealth but for peace. He spoke to young men in the village, warning them about shortcuts, about the cost of impatience. One evening, a young man asked him, Was it the ancestors who killed your brother? Edom thought for a long moment before answering. No, he said finally. It was hunger mixed with hope. The ancestors only reminded us that some boundaries exist to protect us. The boy nodded, thoughtful. Sometimes, Edom caught himself staring at the shrine, half expecting to hear Ikon's voice again. But it never came. What came instead was memory, sharp but honest. Their mother passed quietly one night, her face peaceful. Edom buried her beside his father and brother. As he stood there, alone, he realized something painful and true. Blood ties do not mean safety. They mean responsibility. One evening, as Edom repaired the fence, a crack sounded behind him. His heart jumped. He turned quickly. A calabash had fallen from a shelf and broken. For a moment, fear wrapped around his chest. Then he looked closer. It was an ordinary calabash, empty, harmless. He exhaled slowly and picked up the pieces. "Not every breaking is a curse," he said aloud. "Some are just lessons." The sun dipped low, painting the sky red. Edom walked to the shrine and placed fresh yams at the entrance. Not as payment, not as fear, but as respect. "Thank you," he said quietly, "and goodbye." As he turned to leave, the wind stirred softly, brushing past him like a hand on his shoulder. And Edom knew that while blood can bind people together, it can also destroy them when mixed with greed and silence. Some calabashes are meant to hold blessings. Others exist only to remind us what happens when we forget who we are. If this story touched you, if it reminded you of choices made too quickly or traditions misunderstood, take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here, because every family has blood ties, and every broken calabash carries a story.